Okay, so hi guys and welcome. I know that um we're getting close to the end. Well, we are at the end of the unit. We're at unit 12. So we're the end of textbook. And it's amazing because every week we have been doing one unit from the book. So we're in unit 12, which is the last unit. And this one is called the Earth. So we're going to be learning a lot of future tense. So how to speak about the future. Maybe it's a positive, it's a negative, a question. We're going to be making sure that we know how to use the word the, and also asking questions with how. So it's a really good chapter. It's the end of the elementary. So if you can do this last part, then you have finished doing elementary English. So that's what we're looking at. So unit 12 for this textbook, it's all about the future. We're going to be using the earth to make some conversations and exercises. And yeah, it'll be good to know how to make sure we can use the word the, when to use it, and how to make questions with how. So that's what we'll be doing in this lesson. But before we get started, hi to Gustavo, Juanita, Oscar. You both are online today, and Santiago.
Hi, teacher.
Hey, Juanita.
Hi, teacher.
Hey. I hope
Hi,
you
teacher.
guys, hey, Gustavo. I hope you guys had an interesting weekend, fun weekend. It was warm weather. It was okay. Did anyone do anything interesting that you'd like to share this weekend? Any interesting thing that you did this weekend? Study, I hope then. If you didn't do much, study, work, study. If you didn't go anywhere interesting, no? Okay, good. So let's get into our textbook, Unit 12. We're on page 141. So we're looking at the title for this unit is called The Earth. And I could see that it says there's two images, two pictures, and it says Inuit man in the Arctic holding a photo of South Carolina. So this is a man, and he is in the Arctic, which is on top of the earth. So it's snow, ice, snow dogs, sleigh, and he's holding a picture, a photo of a place, which is South Carolina in the USA. So very, very interesting. It says an Inuit man. So he must be of a community of people called the Inuit. So it's these people. So they must be native, indigenous people like this, traditional native people. So you can see that they are very accustomed. They're used to the very cold weather. They make huts. You could see their fur coats. So very traditional community. Yeah, which is still alive today, which is good. So the Inuit people, or the Inuit community, that's where that's what it says, an Inuit man in the Arctic. Okay, so we can see that we've got, hi Valeria, two images of two different places. So one is icy cold, freezing temperatures, snow. The other image is like a swamp, a river, a swamp. I can see lots of trees, the water. The water is very murky. Murky is like not clear, murky. Okay, so let's listen to a documentary to a man in a documentary speaking about the two photos. So his name or her is Ira Block. And complete the sentences that we hear in the documentary. Okay, so we're going to listen to a documentary and complete questions too. Let's have a listen.
Track 109, Unit 12 opener.
Okay, let's listen one more time and answering questions too.
Track 109, Unit 12 opener.
This Inuit man lives on Baffin Island in Canada. It's in the Arctic, about 2,500 kilometers from the North Pole. Ira Block took the photo, and the Inuit man is also holding another photo by Ira Block. Ira took his second photo in the US state of South Carolina, which is about 2,500 kilometers from the equator. Ira took the two photos because about 56 million years ago, the Arctic probably equaled South Carolina today. At that time, the temperature in the Arctic was around 25 degrees Celsius. Nowadays, the average temperature in the Arctic is around minus 10 degrees.
So you didn't hear the audio. Okay. Let's listen one more time. And I think you should hear the audio now. Sorry about that. So let's listen again.
Track 109, Unit 12 opener.
This Inuit man lives on Baffin Island in Canada. It's in the Arctic, about 2,500 kilometers from the North Pole. Ira Block took the photo, and the Inuit man is also holding another photo by Ira Block. Ira took this second photo in the US state of South Carolina, which is about 2,500 kilometers from the equator. Ira took the two photos because about 56 million years ago, the Arctic probably looked like South Carolina today. At that time, the temperature in the Arctic was around 25 degrees Celsius. Nowadays, the average temperature in the Arctic is around minus 10 degrees.
Perfect. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the answers. What did we hear from the audio? So it says the Inuit man, so remember we talked about that, that's a community of people. The Inuit man lives about About 1,000? 2,500 kilometers from the North Pole? Is that what everyone got? The USA state of South Carolina is about 2016? 60? 16? Yeah. Did everybody get the same answer? Number 3? So the USA state of South Carolina is about 2016 kilometers from the equator. 56 million years ago, the Arctic probably looked like South Carolina. So these two places looked like each other 56 million years ago. And at that time, the temperature in the Arctic was around 26 or 25? 25, yep, degrees. And now the average temperature is -10. It's a big difference. -10. Okay, so now that you know the answers, let's have a listen one last time, especially for some people just came into the room. So listen to question 2. It's a documentary. It's talking about a photographer. Her name is Ira Block, and she took both of these photos. And she has the man holding a photo of her second photo. So she took this one with the man holding the photo, and then he's holding the photo of one of her previous pictures. So let's listen to the information. It's very interesting to hear the history of, this place in the Arctic and South Carolina. Okay, so one last time.
Track 109. Unit 12 opener.
This Inuit man lives on Baffin Island in Canada. It's in the Arctic, about 2,500 kilometers from the North Pole. Ira Block took the photo, and the Inuit man is also holding another photo by Ira Block. Ira took this second photo in the US state of South Carolina, which is about 2,500 kilometers from the equator. Ira took the two photos because about 56 million years ago, the Arctic probably looked like South Carolina today. At that time, the temperature in the Arctic was around 25 degrees Celsius. Nowadays, the average temperature in the Arctic is around -10 degrees.
Okay, so just question number 2, it was also 2,500, 2,500 or 2,500 kilometers. And -10, I hope you got to hear that it was a -10, below 0, 10 degrees under 0. So in your country, are you guys near the equator? So if we look at the world map, we know the equator is at the center of the Earth. The equator. So if this is South America here, right? I reckon Colombia is very close to the equator. Yeah, like pretty much here, right? Yeah, Ecuador, Venezuela, yeah, very, very close to the equator. So that's a good image of showing where South America. Brazil, yeah, you're very You're close as well. But I think the distance for Australia okay, so we're very close as well, especially the top part of Australia. So I can see that's the equator and that's Australia. So interesting. And as we know, in Australia, right now, being October, we are in spring because we are in the southern hemisphere. So under the equator is called the southern hemisphere, and above the equator is called the northern hemisphere. So right now in Australia, it's October, the month. It's also spring, the season before summer, because we're in the southern hemisphere. So we have all that sun coming to shine on us. Yes, finally. But also in Colombia, it's spring, right?
Summer,
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. You have it all the time, anyways. Because I'll just see equator image. Colombia is in the northern hemisphere. Yeah, interesting. But Brazil, yeah. Okay, so that's just a bit of information about the equator. We have the image here as well. So these places in the audio was the North Pole and South Carolina, which were in the northern hemisphere. So different to where we are in Australia. Okay, so let's look at measurements, some vocab to do with measurements. So when we want to measure things, we talk about, sometimes Americans may have a different way to measure something. But in Australia, we have this symbol, and this symbol is what? So is it, I think we've got to match, find which one it is. So is this a temperature? No. Is it an area, like how much of the land? No. Is it distance? No. Is it weight? How much something is heavy or not heavy? Quantity of water, an amount out of 100? Yes. So that's what this symbol is. It's a percent. So it's a percentage. It's this one, percentage. Hey, how are you? So it's this one, percentage. Okay, it's a percentage. How about number 2? Hey, how are you? Number 2. Degrees Celsius. So degrees Celsius. That's number 2. So it tells us the temperature. In Australia, we say Celsius. In the USA, they say Fahrenheit. So very different numbers. Like for example, in Australia, so Adelaide temperature, in Australia, it's 18 degrees Celsius here in Adelaide. But that would be that would be the same as saying 64.4 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's a way to calculate it, but you can just type in the conversion like that. Okay, number 3, what's that? km. Kilometers? Yeah. Hey Vivi, how are you? Good. So I'll put the audio in about after the break. Yeah, you're gonna be here? Okay, after the break. Okay, and number 4, it's an L, liters. Yep, so usually when you're talking about liquid, it could be water, an orange juice. Maybe you bought 2 liters of orange juice. It's how much the weight of a liquid, water, orange juice, milk, anything that's liquid. And 5 square meters. Yep. So square meters. And number 6, kilograms. So in Australia, that's how we weigh ourselves. We say, how many kilograms do you weigh your body? Okay, let's read a bit of facts. That means true information about the Earth. So we've got to fill in some symbols. So if I said the temperature at the center of the Earth is about 7,500, degrees Celsius. Yeah, degrees Celsius. I'm just going to get the image. Yeah. Degrees Celsius. Usually there's a way to make that symbol come. Alt 248. Not okay. Number 2, the North Pole is over 20,000. So we're talking about distance. How far? 20,000 km, kilometers. Yep, kilometers. Yep. Kilometers from the South Pole. So that's the bottom part of the Earth. Number 3, 70 liters. Because if I looked at the sentence, it's talking about water. So 70 liters of the Earth's surface is water. That's how we measure water, in liters. And objects on Earth weigh less on the moon. 100 kilograms. I would square meters. We're talking about the weight. objects, how much they weigh? I think kilograms. So kilograms again. Sorry, not again, because we had kilometers, kilograms. Remember, kilometers is about distance. Kilograms is about how heavy something is. So objects, so 100 kilograms on Earth is the same to say 16.5 kilograms on the moon. Every day, I think this is 914 trillion. So this is 914 trillion what? I think, sorry, I missed one. Number 3, 70% of the Earth's surface. I think I forgot to put the percent here. 70%. And number 4 is actually square meters. So number 4 is the meter square. And 5 kilograms, and number 6, every day, 914 trillion liters of rain falls on Earth. Okay, so that should be the answers for number 3, for number 2. Okay, so let's look at some words. Words often have more than one form. Some words can be made up of the verb and the noun. It weighs 2 kilograms. That's a verb, or an adjective, sorry. And the weight is 2 kilograms. It's 12 meters high. That's an adjective. The height is 12 meters. So how do you know? If you have words, adjective are usually words like long, deep, high, but nouns are words like length. They've got the TH, depth. That means how deep something is, the height, how high, the weight. So that's just some differences between the same word, which can be an adjective or it can be a noun. So let's look at question 3. What's the something of a marathon? So what's the length? Hey, Edward. So what's the length? How something is the Marina Trench? How deep? Deep. Usually with how questions, you'll say how adjective, how big, how strong, how amazing, how deep. So whenever you see how, you've got to use the adjective. How deep, how high, how long, how deep. How deep is the Marina Trench? So how long is it down the ground? Sweden has the tallest men and women in the world. What is their average height? So usually with questions, you've seen in number 1, we went for saying length. So with what questions, try to use the noun. It's like saying, what book do you read? What movie are you watching? So it's the same as what length is the oval, or what length is the table? What height is your sister? What weight do you want to be? So with the what questions, use the noun. And as I said before, with the how questions, use the adjective. So that's how you know which one to add. So you just got to remember the nouns, and these are just words of adjectives. So height for number 3. Number 4, how many kilometers equals 1 mile? Because we're talking about distance, not the weight, kilograms. How many distance? So kilometers. Yep. What something of the world's population live in China? What percentage? Yep. What percentage? Because I don't want to know the size of the land that's in China. I want to know how much people. What's the percent out of 100? And the last one, does a kilogram of metal or a kilogram of plastic weigh? Yep, weigh. And that was a question with does. Usually with does, we add you could add both. So it could be both. So maybe it's an adjective or a noun. You could really make a question with both. So that's just a little bit of rules that I hope help you to know that when we ask a question, if it's a how, usually it's an adjective. You know, how beautiful is the day? How amazing is this book? How scary was that movie? What is usually about a noun. So what book are you reading? What country are you going to travel to? What language are you learning? So that's how you know. And does, you could use both. You know, does she have long hair? Does he have a book? So it does really can be used with both. Okay, question 4. Let's have a look. We have to read an article about climate change. But before, let's talk about what is the climate, that means the temperature in your country. Is it hot or cold right now? So in Australia, it's warm because it's not really hot, it's not really cold, it's warm. And has it changed in recent years? It's been the same, I would say, in Adelaide. Yeah, the same. Have you been to a country where the temperature's completely changed? You know, maybe it was very hot in October and now it's like very cold. Something's changed with the world. Weight and weigh, Clayton, one of them is a noun and one of them is an adjective. So it just depends if you want to ask about how much the book weighs. So because I said book and that's a noun, I want to know how much does the book weigh, or weight is the noun. So I could say this book is, the weight of this book is 50 kilograms. It's just the type of sentences I make. So if I say, you know, how this book weighs, so that's the adjective. This book weighs a lot. Maybe I made a sentence like that, but I could also make a sentence with this book. This book's weight this book is, forgot the sentence that I just said. Something like the weight of this book is very heavy. So I can almost make the same sentence. I just need to be careful if I already did use a noun, so then you use an adjective. Or I could talk about the noun immediately by saying the weight of this book, the weight of this person, whatever. So you could see the first sentence, noun, adjective, and then here it was just the noun. So let's look at the two maps on page 143 and read the article. So this is the article, climate change. So I'll read it and then you can read after, sentence by sentence. So let's start. Okay, climate change. Climate scientists have measured, yes. Ah, he's downstairs, yes. Okay, so climate scientists have measured the temperature and rainfall on every part of the earth over many years. They look at the changes and predict the future. The first map shows the temperature change over 30 years. In most parts of the world, the temperature has increased by a few degrees, and scientists think it will increase in the future. The second map shows rainfall change on the earth over 30 years. The change in rainfall is very different from region to region. So that just means from area to area. It has increased in some countries. For example, Venezuela. The scientists think it will continue to increase in the future. But rainfall has decreased in other places, such as parts of Brazil. In these regions, rainfall will continue to decrease. In conclusion, the changes in climate probably won't stop in the near future. Okay, so that was the article, and it was speaking about the two images right here. So these are diagrams, images, map 1, map 2. Map 1, it says it's about the temperature. Map 2 is about the rain. So what's happened? Thank you. So what's happened over 30 years? We can see what's happened to the temperature in the world over 30 years and what's happened to the world rain in 30 years. Hey, Italo. Hey. So that's what the map shows. How many years is it for? 30 years. And how does it show the change? So I'm answering question 5. It shows the change by the color. So that's how we can see the change, because it's showing us by the color over 30 years. The first one, temperature. The second one, rain. So what has happened to the world in 30 years? We can see. Okay, so I'll give you 1 minute to read it again for yourself and to do questions 6 and 7. And then we'll come back and look at some grammar. So questions 6 and 7, I'll give you 2 minutes. Okay, let's look at the questions. So I hope you've read the article again. You looked at the images. Now the temperature, we're looking at map 1. We have to say true or false. Is the temperature in the Arctic Circle, has it decreased by 4 degrees? Has it decreased? False. If I look at the temperature, which I know is the first map, the Arctic is in top of the world. And remember, Antarctica is on the bottom. So has the Arctic increased? Sorry, the temperature in the Arctic has decreased? No. I can see that it's increased by 4 degrees. So false. The temperature in the Arctic has increased. I can see the color red. That means it's increased in the last 30 years. In 30 years, the temperature is going up, up, up in the Arctic, which is bad because it means all that snow is melting. So false for the first question. The second question says the temperature change in the northern hemisphere, so up here, is higher than the south hemisphere. The temperature in the top part of the world is higher than the bottom half. Yeah, because I can see from the colors, it's got this orange, yellow. Yeah, that's true. The temperature in some parts of Antarctica has decreased by 2 degrees. If I look at Antarctica on the bottom, decreased by 2 degrees. Yeah, look at the color. Blue. True. The temperature in the bottom of the earth has decreased in 30 years. The temperature has gone down, decreased. Yes, true. Okay, map 2, it says, question 4, rainfall has increased in Western Australia and it has decreased in Eastern Australia. I think true. I can see from the colors, yes, the rain has increased and decreased. I can see orange on the east, blue on the west. So yes, blue, increase, orange, decrease, true. Rainfall has increased in all of Europe. False. No, because I could see, it's not just decreased, I could see some blue. There's some increase, decrease, it's a mix, so false. Rainfall has decreased in parts of Africa by 10 degrees. 10 degrees is orange, this color. It says some parts, so I'm going to say true. It didn't say all, it said some. Yes, I could see that there's orange, -10. So yeah, true. Not many places, but yes, there is -10 in some parts. Okay, let's look at a bit of grammar. So we have the future simple. So if you remember in the last lessons, we looked at speaking about the past. We know how to talk about the past and make an action that happened in the past. But now we're going to talk about the future. We're going to give some information about the future. So we just say will and then add the verb. So you have your subject, I, you, he, she, it, we, they. Then you put will and then you put the action. So for example, I will work tomorrow. The temperature will increase. To make it a negative, I add not. Or I can add won't.
Yeah.
So you've got two options. You can add will not or won't. They're the same. And then it doesn't matter. It's sometimes mixed. Yeah, because it's not I don't know. I don't think like it just sometimes I say won't. Like tomorrow I won't dress up in uniform because I don't have a uniform. I could just say, hey, tomorrow I will not wear anything. Doesn't matter. Same. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I use this one, sometimes this one. So how do you do it? Subject. Then you say will not, or you can say won't, and then the action. So that's how we make a negative. That's like saying tomorrow I won't work. On Saturday, I won't see you. Yeah, the rainfall won't increase. To make a question, we have to start with the will, if it's a positive sentence, or won't. And then you have the subject, and then the action. So for example, will you work tomorrow? Will you speak to Maria tomorrow? Will you buy that video game? Will you go to the beach tomorrow? Yeah, so don't forget the action. Will you go to the beach tomorrow? Now, if it's a negative, I could say won't as a question. But it becomes a little bit hard, so it's always easier to make it will. So for example, will the temperature, that's the subject, increase? And we can respond by saying, I don't think it will increase. I believe, it won't. So that's how we can respond. So you've got the future, we're using it to talk about actions, which is going to happen in the future. They're not happening now, but they're going to happen in the future. So let's look at the grammar box. We use will or won't to talk about the past, present, or future. The future. For the third person, he, she, it, do we add S to will or we don't add S to will? We don't. No, that's only in the present simple when you say she loves soccer, he likes coffee. But no, in the future, it's I will, you will, he will, she will, it will, they will, we will. You don't add S to will. So number B, and the verb after will is in the infinitive form with to or without to. I can't see the to in my rule. So if I look at my rule, where do I see to? It's not I will to work tomorrow, it's I will work. So without to. We don't add to here. So I don't put to here, no. Okay, let's go back to the article and underline the words with will and won't. So for question 9, underline the sentences with will and won't. So I'm going to go back to the article. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute to read it again and to underline the words will and won't. Okay, so the first will was in the last sentence of the first paragraph. It says scientists think it will increase in the future. And then we have another sentence here. After it says, for example, Venezuela, and scientists think it will continue to increase. And the last sentence, in these regions, rainfall will continue to decrease. And the last sentence, the changes in climate probably won't stop in the near future. Okay, let's go to question 10. You're going to reorder the words. So remember, we do have rules. If it is a question, just remember it does start with will. So let's do them together. Number 1, they did it for us. It says, it will be hotter in my country in the future. That's a good future sentence. Number 2, it's a negative. I can see won't, so we need a subject. So how do I make that sentence? So the answer is in the future, because we can use phrases before the subject. I could say tomorrow, next year, in the future, next week. So in the future, subject, the rainfall in this country won't increase. I made a negative. Number 3, I don't think so. I don't think the number of dry deserts. That's the subject, dry deserts. And then will, verb, will increase. I don't think the number of dry deserts will increase. I can also make it a question. Will the number of dry deserts increase in the future? Number 4. So we have a comparison. We're comparing because it says longer. It's an adjective. We add the ER to compare. So there will be longer summers in the future. So it's comparing it to now. You know, in the future, there will be longer summers compared to now. So make sure that you could see that you've got an adjective, long. We added the ER because we're comparing the future to now. The summers, it will be longer compared to now. Number 5. The percent of people living in cities will decrease. So always will, verb, will decrease. Number 6. Everyone, that's a subject, will speak English in the future. Everyone will speak English. Number 7. Yeah, so people won't use petrols in their cars. Yeah, that's a negative. They won't. If I want, I can make a question. Will people use petrols in their car? And the last one, I can see subject, so I'll start with I'll. But I think I see I think first. So I think always comes before the subject. I think he, I think I think we, I think you. So I think is just showing my opinion. I think I'll move to a warmer country. Okay, let's look at some pronunciation in number 12. So will, we can connect the subject I, which will make it I'll. But you can also do it to you'll, she'll, he'll. So I'll just write that out for you. So if you want, yeah, so I'll is I'll, you'll, she'll, he'll, will, and they'll. So if you want, you can connect the subject to will. So I'll see you tomorrow. He'll it'll, yeah. Sorry, he, she, it'll. Yeah, it'll be hot tomorrow. It will be hot tomorrow. It'll. Yeah, it'll be hot tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. They'll buy a house next year. So all we're doing, connecting the subject to will. And the pronunciation, I'll just say it one last time. I'll, you'll, she'll, he'll, it'll, will, they'll. Now, it's really hard when you're first learning English. It's best to say it separate. Until you can do the pronunciation good, then connect it. But there's no need to connect it. It's best make it separate and clear. Will I see you tomorrow? Or, you know, she, my friend, will read the book, whatever. Okay, let's do a bit of writing before we have a break. So we're going to write using the future simple. Now, I've changed it a little bit. It says number 13, think about your partner's future. Write 4 sentences. I'm going to change it. I've put a post on Facebook. It says, what comes to mind when you think about your or someone else's future? So that means tell me about your future. You know, you could write sentences like, you know, I believe that in the future, I will be married. I will have a family. I will live by the sea. I will also have a great job and I will have many friends, whatever. So you could write it about yourself, or you could write it about someone else. You could write about your brother, your mother, your sister, maybe about the president of your country, or about someone famous. Okay, so upload it to Facebook and I'll check the English there. So write about what comes to mind just means like, what do you think? So what comes to mind when you think about your future or someone else's future? Okay, so upload it to Facebook. You can write about your future or someone else. Maybe someone famous, the future of Israel, the future of, the subject could be anything that you want. Use the future simple. We're talking about what we think will happen for the future, not now or not in the past, but what do we think will happen? Maybe I can write about my friend. You know, she will be a lawyer because she's studying very well. She will also travel the world, whatever. So I can write about anyone that I want. Okay, so let's do that. I'll give you 10 minutes to write and then we'll come back and check the writing. If you have finished, use the opportunity to read all the English, maybe in the other posts, or read someone else's post. So write at least about 8 to 10 sentences about one person. So don't write about too many people, just pick one person to write about. Okay? So if you don't have Facebook just online, you can add it in the chat. You have to write about a person. So you can pick someone, maybe you or your mom or the president of your country or someone, and write about what do you think about their future. Will they get married? Will they travel the world? Do you think that they will make a business? Do you think that they will travel? Whatever. But one person, pick one person. Okay, and about 8 to 10 sentences about one person. Maybe about you or someone else. Okay, we'll come back and check it. We have Adriano. Let's have a look. Currently, what I think about my future is about learning English. So that in the near future, I can specialize. So for any words that end in ZE, we put SE because that's American. And then, so that I can specialize in my profession that I have in Brazil. Yeah, my work that I have in Brazil. Taking some courses. Is that a continued sentence? I think that's a continued sentence. Because it looks like you haven't finished the sentence. I'll give you a few more minutes to finish that sentence. Jose, okay. I'll work at the ONO. What's that? The ONU, sorry. Yeah, what's that? I'll work in New York. Okay, so I could see you've got different subjects. You're only talking about one person, maybe about you and your future, or your mother, or your child, or your president. So we're not practicing all the sentence. So we're talking about your future or someone else's. So that one, no. Juanita, let's have a look. So Juanita says, in the future, I will, so there's no to, so I will get married and have a family. Perfect. There's no to, I will get to know different countries. So in English, we do not say that we get to know other countries. Maybe that's how you say it in Spanish, but in English, we say, I will travel. We're very simple in English. I will travel, visit many different countries. For example, Japan. I will have an excellent job. You don't have an action here. I will have a big and beautiful house. I will study postgraduate. And finally, you don't have a verb here. So you got to remember subject, subject, will, verb. I will start my company. Maybe start. Yes. The little monkey emoji. That's funny. I will start. We say my own company. Back home might say back home in Colombia. Very good sentences. I'll reread it again. So in the future, I will get married and have a family. I will travel, visit many different countries. Such as Japan. I will have an excellent job. I will have a big and beautiful house. I will study postgraduate. And finally, we say I will study a postgraduate, or I will study postgraduate studies in something. I will study a postgraduate. That just means it's another word for degree. And finally, I will start my own company back home in Colombia. Good, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So that's about Juanita and her future, what she thinks for herself, what she wants and thinks for herself. So good. Looks like you've got a good full life. Lots of married, traveling, job, studying, business. Really good. That's a nice full life. So I just, I'll do one more because we are over time. I just saw the time. Okay, Min. So you need a subject. I will take my daughter to school every day. So I think she'll be a singer in the future. The so doesn't really connect. I will take my daughter to school every day. I think you should start with my daughter will go to school every day, and because maybe that's who you're talking about, your daughter, and she'll be a singer in the future. Yeah, so as we walk, so you walk together with your daughter to school. So as we walk, as I walk her to school, as I walk her to school, she is singing. So as you walk her to school, she sings a lot. Yeah. So as I walk her to school, she maybe when I walk her to school, she will, because we really want to practice the future, she will sing. And her singing is very good. Okay, so we changed the subject to be about your daughter. So my daughter will go to school every day, and maybe she'll learn to be a singer in the future. When I walk her to school, she will sing, and her singing is very good. Yeah, good. So that's about your daughter's future. Okay, so let's have a break because we're a little bit over. When I come back, we will check the rest of them. So it's good you're all uploading. And I'll check. Okay, so good. Keep your writings coming and let's have a break. And when we come back, I'll check the rest of it. We're talking about future simple. You're welcome, Juanita. So break. Sorry, 7:30. So let's have a break. We'll come back. We'll look at the future and also looking at more about the earth. And then it's going to get really interesting because we're going to start looking at how to use the article the properly. So which words do we need to say the something, and which ones we don't? So, okay, let's have a break and we'll come back after to do that. Okay, so we're looking at the future. Let's look at some of your writings really quickly before we continue the class. So let's have a look. We've got Jose. I will travel throughout the United States and work at Disney. Full stop. I will write a very famous comic book, and I will have my own restaurant in Miami. Beautiful, Jose. Good. I hope so. All the best. Let me know when you do. I love Miami. So have to come to Miami and Disney. Okay, Shirley. I will travel around the world. My passport will be filled with stamps from countries I've yet to discover. Experiencing different climates will be a part of my future as a global wanderer. I will capture the beauty of the world by preserving these moments. Yeah, by preserving these moments. I will meet people from all across the globe. Maybe is nice to say. Good. So we just need some connecting words, like, for example, my passport will be filled with stamps from countries I've yet to discover. Experiencing different climates will be part of my future as a global wanderer. I will capture the beauty of the world by preserving these moments and meeting people from all across the globe. Yeah, good. Beautiful to share that, Shirley. Adriano. Okay, so I think we fixed it here. Currently, what I think about my future is about learning English. We want to try and practice the future. So currently, my future will be about learning English, so that in the near future, I can specialize in my profession back in Brazil. So we need to connect that sentence by taking a course related to engineering. Yeah, exactly. Good. So using the future, my future will be about learning English and by taking a course. I think I can edit that. I might change it. Currently, my future will be about learning English. So that by taking a course related to engineering will be about learning English, maybe which will help with taking a course related to engineering, so that in the near future, I will specialize in my profession back in Brazil. Okay, I just reworded it a little bit. Oscar, in the future, comma, we need a comma there. In the future, I will like to get to know the whole of Europe. And in 1 year, yeah, we can say instead of for one. So we can say, and in a year's time, there's no to, I will start a master's degree. Good. So in the future, you've got two verbs here, like and get. So it's kind of more easier to go with get. I will get to know the whole of Europe. And in a year's time, I will start a master's degree. Good. Okay, Fernando. So Fernando says, my future job will be as an engineer in a construction company, and I will be able to travel to many countries and live in Japan. Of course, I will be able to do all this with the necessary level of English to be able to get to my career, maybe. I don't know. Lewis. So we still have a short sentence. When I think about my future, right now, the first thing that comes to mind is being able to speak and understand English well. Good. So we don't need to fix that. That was a good sentence. Sebastian, in the future, I will have a beautiful family. I would like, so would like is good, but let's just go with the will just to practice it. I will have 3 children and visit many countries with them. Good. Jessica, a little bit of a short sentence, but that's okay. In the future, I will change professions and will learn English. Yeah, and we'll maybe continue. I'll put here continue, and we'll continue to learn English. So in the future, I will change professions and will continue to learn English. Good. So I think that is everyone. Looking at the future, Jonathan. In the future, my daughter will be the best dancer in the city. We usually say in town, in town. She'll be the best dancer in town. In 3 years, maybe I might connect it by saying, and for me, in 3 years, I will work in a bank again. Yeah, good. I like that about your daughter. That's cute, Jonathan. Yeah. I think that's everyone. So you should see all your corrections about the future. So remember, subject, will, verb. There's no to before the verb. So I noticed a lot of mistakes was with that. Bivy, let's have a look. So in the future, I will buy a house with my sister. I will travel next year to see my family. In the future, okay, so we don't want to repeat sentences with the same, in the future, in the future, in the future, because you only need to say it once. So I might say, in the future, I will buy a house with my sister and we'll travel next year to see my family. I will also travel with my friends to Thailand. I will travel next year back home. I might just put here where, so back home to see my family. Yeah, but before then, just to make it, but before then, I will also travel with my friends. But before then, I will travel with my friends to Thailand. Good. So really good. So you don't need to put that same in the future, in the future, in the future. Only one time, because I know that's what you're talking about. I think that is everyone. Lewis, Julian. Okay. And I know we have Italo. Did you upload on Padlet? The other one? Yes. Okay. I'll enjoy time. We have to say that we enjoy something. So I will enjoy time with my family, maybe in my country. So are you in your country, you'll enjoy time with your family or not? Because you said maybe, you're not sure. So I'm a little bit confused about these sentences. So I'll enjoy time with my family in my country and together, because you said we, do you mean, and together we will travel to Colombia or to Australia and we will go to the beach. Also, I will study something. Yeah, also I'll study, we say like some course, if you want, sounds a bit better than something. Also, I will study some course. You can connect that sentence by saying which I'm not too sure on yet. Just another way to show you that, which I'm not too sure on yet, but we will be happy. I might take off full stop. But for certain, I know I will be happy because the universe treats us well. Good. So let me just reread that to Julian. I'll enjoy time with my family in my country. And together, is that what you mean? And together, we will travel to Colombia. Julian? Will you travel with your family to Colombia or that your family is already in Colombia? I think you'll travel to Australia with your family. Do you want to travel with your family to Australia? Yes. Yeah. Your family is in Colombia? Okay, so maybe I'll enjoy time with my family in Colombia. Or in my country, that's fine, or Colombia. And together we will travel to Australia and we'll go to the beach. Also, I will study some course, which I'm not too sure on yet, but for certain, I know I will be happy because the universe treats us well. Yeah, good. Okay, that should be everyone. So let's continue. Thank you for sending that. Looking at the future, talking about our future or someone else's. So I was happy to see we had like Min, your daughter, Jonathan's daughter as well. So that was good to see, not just our future, but what we think for someone else's future. Okay, let's get back into our textbook. So the unexplored Earth. Which places would you like to visit on Earth? Is this a place you saw on TV or read about in the magazines, or, you know, why do you want to go there? So which place, does anyone have a place? See ya tomorrow. Does anyone have a place they want to travel to? Jose, I know you like to travel. You've been many places already. What's your next destination? Which one? Which place? Country? Oh, in Malaysia. Okay, nice. Yeah, why?
No travel now.
Yeah,
In the future.
I won't travel now. So remember, I won't travel now, but in the future, yes, to Malaysia. Interesting. Why Malaysia? Not where, why?
Why?
Why do you choose Malaysia? Why? Why are you interested in Malaysia? You could go Africa. Why Malaysia? You like the Asian culture? Yeah. Yeah. No. So why means you have to tell me, yes, why is it interesting to you?
History.
Yeah.
Place interesting.
Yeah.
Religion, food.
Exactly. Good to see the Malaysian culture, the Malaysian food, the history. Yeah. Okay. So now we are going to listen to a radio program. Sorry, really quickly, I forgot to check. Italo, I know you did the writing here. Yes, sorry, because I don't use Padlet anymore. It's very difficult to go back to Padlet because there's so many posts. It's not easy like Facebook. I know. No, that's okay. It's just I have to find it. 1 second. Okay, I think yes.
Yes.
Good. That's okay. When I think about my future, I believe that by improving my English, I will have more job opportunities, including, yeah, more job opportunities. You don't need to say including, just in the administrative fields. Yeah, good. So that's what you think. When I think about my future, I believe that by improving my English, I will have good more job opportunities in this area. Okay, good. So let's listen to a radio program about 5 places on the earth. They're unexplored places. So that means unexplored places means places that they're still new. You know, people haven't really come to these places a lot. They're unexplored. We haven't really seen this place much. You know, maybe because it's hard to get there, maybe because, you know, it's nature. They don't want to destroy it by bringing too much tourists. So we're looking at these 5 places. And we're going to fill in this table. Now, don't worry about doing it in groups. We're going to do it together. So listen, and you've got 5 places. The first one is the black hole of Andros. So let's have a look. The black hole of Andros. So this is the first place. So it's unexplored. It means that not many people go there. You can see it's just nature. It's not houses and buildings and cars and pollution and, so it's unexplored. So this is the first one, the black hole of Andros. So this looks beautiful. Okay, so I'll just put images of these places. That's the first one. So that's the black hole. The second place that we're looking at is Lake Vostok. Lake Vostok. Yeah, so it's a lake somewhere in Antarctica. So Lake Vostok is this one. Okay, Lake Vostok. Then we have Mount Dipernalison. This is the second place. Or the third place, Mount Dipernalison, the Himalayan. That's amazing. So you can see these are not touristic places, they're unexplored places. The fourth one, the Maroon Mountains. In Purana. So this is the mountains. And we have the last place is the Foya Mountains. The Foya Mountain. Wow. Okay, so these are the unexplored places that we're going to hear about. So you can see, what does it mean unexplored? They're places that are not busy with tourists and pollution and buildings. They're just very natural places on Earth. Okay, so let's listen to the audio and answer questions 4 and 5 and 6. Okay, so I'll play the audio a couple of times. Okay, so these are the places, 5 places. And don't worry about student A, student B, and student C, because we're doing it. You're doing all the questions by yourself, but we'll check them together. Okay, let's listen.
Track 112, Unit 12B.
We often think that humans have been everywhere on the earth. We've crossed deserts, and we've been to the bottom of oceans. And as for mountains, about 500 people climb to the top of Mount Everest every year. So, is there anything left? Well, if you're an explorer who's looking for new places to explore, here are my top 5 unexplored places. Good luck! First of all, there are 2 lakes. The Black Hole of Andros is in the Bahamas in the Atlantic Ocean. The water temperature is 36 degrees Celsius, and it is very dark, so it's difficult to see what's in there. And my second lake is Lake Vostok in Antarctica. Lake Vostok is 14,000 square kilometers and freezing cold. Unfortunately, it's been under a sheet of ice for 15 million years. The ice is 3.7 kilometers deep, so it's impossible to get to, though scientists have taken water from it. If you're a climber, there are lots of mountains in the world that nobody has climbed yet. For example, there's Mount Dimpanalasan in the east of the Himalayan mountains. It's 6,135 meters high. Or you could explore the Merimee Mountains in Guyana in South America. But they are at the end of the 500-kilometer-long Matsuruni River. So that's one for someone who also likes boats and maybe swimming. It's one of the most dangerous rivers in the world. Then there are also the Foja Mountains in a forest of Papua New Guinea. The forest is 8,100 square kilometers, and the bad news is there are no maps of the region, so you'll have to make one while you're there.
Okay, let's listen again.
Track 112, Unit 12B.
We often think that humans have been everywhere on the earth. We've crossed deserts, and we've been to the bottom of oceans. And as for mountains, about 500 people climb to the top of Mount Everest every year. So, is there anything left? Well, if you're an explorer who's looking for new places to explore, here are my top 5 unexplored places. Good luck! First of all, there are 2 lakes. The Black Hole of Andros is in the Bahamas in the Atlantic Ocean. The water temperature is 36 degrees Celsius, and it is very dark, so it's difficult to see what's in there. And my second lake is Lake Vostok in Antarctica. Lake Vostok is 14,000 square kilometers and freezing cold. Unfortunately, it's been under a sheet of ice for 15 million years. The ice is 3.7 kilometers deep, so it's impossible to get to, though scientists have taken water from it. If you're a climber, there are lots of mountains in the world that nobody has climbed yet. For example, there's Mount Dimpanalasan in the east of the Himalayan mountains. It's 6,135 meters high. Or you could explore the Merimee Mountains in Guyana in South America. But they are at the end of the 500-kilometer-long Matsuruni River. So that's one for someone who also likes boats and maybe swimming. It's one of the most dangerous rivers in the world. Then there are also the Foja Mountains in a forest of Papua New Guinea. The forest is 8,100 square kilometers. And the bad news is there are no maps of the region. So you'll have to make one while you're there.
Okay, don't worry if you missed some. We'll do it together and then we'll listen again. So let's look the 5 places. So I just showed you some images before of these 5 places. We have some questions. Let's look first at the black hole, this one. So in the Bahamas, in the Atlantic, that's where the black hole is. So what I'm going to do is put the image. We know it is in the Atlantic. Yep. The water, I'm going to go to number 7 because I want to stay talking about the black hole. The water is 36 degrees. Yep. Number 7, 36 degrees. So that's about this one, the black hole. It's 36 degrees in this water. That's pretty hot.
It might look like a water volcano.
Yeah, like a volcanic.
In my opinion.
Yeah, volcanic water.
Yeah.
Amazing. And it's hot, 36 degrees in the Atlantic Ocean. The hole is very, what did you hear? What is it? Very dark. It's very dark. Very dark. So it's very dark in there. And it's very dark. So it's difficult to see. Yes, good. So if you got those answers, that's good. You heard very well from the audio. So that was the first place, the unexplored place, the black hole of Andos. That's this one. Okay, Lake Vostok. So this was the image for Lake Vostok. So Lake Vostok in, where is it? In Antarctica. Yep, it's in Antarctica. And number 8, it's square kilometers. Yes, it's 4,000 square kilometers. The size. And also we have number 14, the ice is is 3.7 kilometers deep. Is that what you heard? 3.7. So 3.7 deep, so you can't get there. So that's why it's an unexplored places. These are places that you cannot go. It's impossible. Okay, the next one, Mount Dipernallison. That was this image here. First of all, where is it? No, number 3, in the east of the Himalayan mountains. In the east of the Himalayan mountains. So first we're looking at the location, and then after, number 9, how high is it? 6,135 meters high. So that's a mountain. It's quite high with ice. So it's 6,135 meters high. Nobody has ever climbed it. So nobody has ever climbed it in the history. It's impossible. Yeah, just. Okay, and then we had, the next place was the Meru Mountains, this one. Where is this place? In Guanava in South America. Yes. At the end of the 5,000 kilometer, at the end of the 5,000 kilometer, yeah. Sorry, which one?
Number 10 or number 9?
Number 10. At the end of the 5,000 kilometer long Mazaruni River. It's 1/16 of the most dangerous. So if you heard dangerous, that's good. It's one of the most dangerous rivers in the world. And the last place, we had the Foja Mountains. That's this place here. And okay, so that's this place. The Foja Mountains in number 16, in a forest. Is that what you heard? In a forest in Papua New Guinea. The forest is, did anyone get that? 8,100 square kilometers. Okay, good. Yep. Okay, so we said that the forest is 8,100 square kilometers. There are no maps. There are no maps of the region, of this place. Okay, good. So there's 5 places. There's some images, they're unexplored. Really, like, there's a lot that, you know, it's hard to go there to really study these places. Okay, so let's quickly do number 5 and 6. So which of these places were in water? Lake Vostok, because you can see lake, the Black Hole, and Lake Vostok. So the first one and the second one, they are in water. Which ones are on land? Well, the rest of them. Mount Dipernallison, the Mernum Mountains, and the Foggia Mountains. Which place would you like to go to? If you had to pick, I like this one. I think that's an interesting one. That lake in the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah. Okay, so again here we had to pick which words were areas of water. So sea, so sea, lake, ocean, river. These are all words that have to do with water. Lake, ocean, river. Which words are land, desert, mountain, because that's on land, mountain, forest, and forest. Okay, so as I play, so we'll just finish here for 1 second, I'll come back. Okay, so we're looking at places. I picked, we don't have time to do everyone, but I hope you picked a place from your country. So I picked a place, it's called the Daintree Rainforest. I didn't go here. I was very close because I was in the area, but I didn't go here because I didn't have enough time. So this is in Queensland. So the Daintree Forest is one of the largest in Australia. It's one of the largest forests in Australia and one of the oldest continuing rainforests in the world. It's estimated at over 135 million years old, this rainforest. It covers, so the space of this rainforest is 1,200 square kilometers. There's lots of different things like beaches, gorges, river, waterfall, mountains. It cuts through a valley and it starts to go up to about 1,270 meters. But the highest point is 1,375. You can find 65% of Australian animals here, bats, butterflies, frogs, marsupials, reptiles, 35% of them. In the winter, the average temperature is about 26 degrees, so that's pretty warm. And at night, it does go down a lot. In summer, the temperature is about 32 degrees. So that's my place that I spoke about. It's in my country. It's in Australia. It's called the Daintree Rainforest. And it's a beautiful place in Queensland. So I'll just show you some more images of that. So I hope in that time you were able to look at your own. So this is a must visit. You have to go here. So it's in Queensland, Australia. The Daintree Rainforest. Okay, so let's look at some grammar. We're going to talk about the article, the definite article, the. So you know a lot of times you say the, and then you realize sometimes in English you don't need it, sometimes you need it, but you're not sure when. So we use the. I've got some notes here. This will make it very easy. When to use the. So when you have the name of a river, you say the. For example, the Amazon River. When you have an island, you say the, like the Samoan Islands. When you have, I'll just, The Canary Islands, the Balearic Islands. So any islands, you need to say the. When you have oceans and seas, you need to say the. So for example, the Mediterranean Sea, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean. So we need to say the. You can't just say Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean, the Mediterranean Sea. If you have mountains that are plural, you need to say the. So for example, the Meryum Mountains. So you remember the Meryum Mountains, which was this one. So because it has an S, we say the Meryum Mountains. If you have, see you tomorrow. If you have, when you say a country, but it has the word states, kingdom, republic, you say the. So for example, the United States of America, the United Kingdom, the Republic of Dominica, you say the. If you have places that have east or west, so you say the east side of the city, the west side of the city. You say the. If you have deserts, you say the. So for example, the Sahara Desert. Yeah, the Sahara Desert. If you have names of planets, you say the. So if you have countries with plural, you say the. If you have north, east, south, west parts of a place, so the northern part of Australia, the eastern part of Australia, the west part of Brazil, the south part of Brazil, we need to say the. If you have a tower, you need to say the. Like the can't think of an example. The Tokyo Skytree, the Eiffel Tower. So you need to say the. If you have union, see you tomorrow, you need to say the. So that's some rules. When do you use the definite article the? So when you have all these words, you need to say the. So the is for names of deserts, seas, ocean, and rivers. And then it gives you lots of examples here. You don't need it when you say continent. So you don't say the Australia, the Africa. So when you say continents, you don't need it. So no articles, you don't need it for continents. You don't need it for cities. You don't say the Adelaide, you just say Adelaide. Country, you don't say the Australia. You don't say the states in a country. Like I don't say the South Australia, I say South Australia. If you have a name of a road, it's just whatever the name of the road is. So Peary Street, Guja Street, Port Road. If you have the name of a mountain, but there's no S, you don't say the, so it's just Mount Everest. Lakes, you don't say the. Continents, we talked about that, and beaches. You don't say the Glenelg, you just say Glenelg Beach. Okay, so let's put some practice. Number 8. So the Bahamas, because that's a country. So we know when we have a country, Actually, it's not really a country. It's more like an island, the Bahamas. So we need to say the. Mount Kilimanjaro, we don't need to say the because it's a single mountain. There's no S. It's like saying Mount Everest. What about Pacific Ocean? The Pacific Ocean. Yes, we know that we need to put the for Pacific, for names of oceans. The Pacific Ocean. Africa, it's a continent. Do we need to say the Africa? No, I want to go to Africa. My friend lives in Africa. So I don't need the. It's a river. Do I need to say the River Nile? River, yes. The River Nile, the Amazon River. So you can say in my country, Brazil, the Amazon River, you know, I have been to the Amazon River in Brazil. Mayoom Mountains. So yes, when we have mountains with a plural, so yes, the Mayoom Mountains. It's different to number 2 because this doesn't have an S. It's not plural. So only if it has an S, you do say the something mountains. Peru is a country. Do we say the Peru? No, we just say, you know, my friend is from Peru. I want to go to Peru. We don't say the Peru. Lake, do we say the? Lake, no. So it's not the Lake Titicaca, it's just Lake Titicaca. So which one? A is a group of mountains. Which one is a group of mountains? Number 6. So a group of mountains is 6A. The Mayoom Mountains, which is the name of a country. Number 7, Peru. Yep. So 7B, Peru. Which is the name of a continent? Four, Africa. Yeah, Africa, Australia, Americas, Europe. Which is the name of a mountain? Just a, one, singular mountain. 2A. They did that one for us. The name of a river. 5. Yep, 5E. The River Nile, which is in Africa. Which is a group of islands. They did that one for us. Number 1, the Bahamas. The name of a lake. 8, Lake Titicaca. I don't know how to say that. 8G. And which is the name of an ocean? The Pacific Ocean. 3. Yep, 3H. Okay, good. So I hope you understand all these oceans, mountains, rivers, lakes. Which one we have to say the in front of it and which one we don't need to say the. Okay, let's do this one here. Number Number 9, so it says, look at the article and photo of an ancient map. That's here next to number 9. So let's complete we'll do it together. So this map of, so for planets, of the Earth. So I need to say the Earth. The map of the Earth is from the 12th century. So that's from a very long time ago. This is what a map of the Earth looks like. We know it's very different now. At the time, the king of, it's a country. Do I need the? See you tomorrow. Bye. In class. At the time, the king of Sicily. I don't need the, because it's the name of a country. Remember? Country, no article. So at the time, it's like saying the king of Australia, the king of England. The king of Sicily wanted a map of the countries around, we've got the sea, around the Mediterranean Sea. See you tomorrow. Make sure you finish 12B. So we need to say the. He wanted a map of the countries around the Mediterranean Sea. He paid a man called Al-Idrisi to make a map. Al-Idrisi was from the country. Do I say the? No. He was from Morocco. So I can just put a dash. I don't need the. He was from Australia. He was from Colombia. You don't need the. He was from Morocco. But he lived in, no, he lived in Spain. So we'll just say Spain. Al-Idrisi interviewed thousands of travelers for information about the sea and the continents, including Arabia. Now, we need to say the, because why? The for words that have east or west, the Middle East. So number 6, make sure you put the. Now, it was called Arabia a long time ago. Now it's called the Middle East, that section of the world. And no, so I don't need the, and Asia, because it's a continent. The map is difficult to understand because old maps used to put south at the top and north at the bottom. So this map shows North Africa, so I don't need the. It shows North Africa at the top and continent, I don't need the, and Europe at the bottom. Okay, so did you know how to use, when to use, so the word for the grammar of the word the is called the definite article. It just means the. That's just the word for the grammar. So when do we use it? That's when we use it. When we don't use it, this is when we don't use it. Okay, so we have about 5 minutes. So what we'll do, you can upload to Facebook. I'll put another post. We're going to go back to question 7. You remember how I was asking you to talk about a place? So I talked about the Dantry River forest that was in Queensland. So now you're going to write about your own place So remember, an unexplored place. So I'll just put the post unexplored place. So it doesn't matter. It says which places have you visited. You don't need to visit it, just like me. For my answer was, if you remember, I'm just going back. It was the Daintree Forest. I didn't visit this place, but it doesn't matter. I wrote about it. Make sure you give information about using all the, temperature, measurements, whatever. Okay, so you can upload that. Unexplored places. Write about one unexplored places. It doesn't need to be in your country. So you could write about the Dead Sea. This is one of my favorite. The Dead Sea. That's really an unexplored place. And add an image. So you can add the image. Maybe another place could be see you. Bye. This one looks really interesting. So maybe you want to talk about can't read the article. Yeah, so many places on Earth. So add an image as well. Don't forget to add a picture. This is another place. Could be a forest, a river, a lake, an ocean. Could be a place like this, caves, maybe caves. So this was an island, Sentinel Island, Bay of Bengal, Brazil, Vale do Davari. Are you from Colombia? Yeah. Ah, Jessica, do you know this place? Vale do Javari. Do you know this place? Yeah. Okay, maybe you can write for this one. So find out some information about this place. So same like how I found out some information for my place. So talk about the population, the temperature, what's amazing about this place. Okay, so this one is your one. Vale do Javari. Javari. Namibia Desert. Namibia. Jonathan, do you have a place? You can do this one. Yes, you have to write about it. Find out some information. Nambit Desert, Namibia. Okay, so this one is yours. And add an image into the Facebook post so we can see what you're writing about. And this is beautiful. Shirley, did you have one? If not, Shaka Republic, Russia. So you can do this place. So if you want, let me add this link so you can get those images. So if you want, you can take the images from the link. I've just added it to the post. So you're Russia? Yep. So give me information about this place. Make it easy English. So try and write it very simple. Online. So who do we have? Clayton, Gustavo. Gustavo? Juanita, you can write about this place in Mexico. So Juanita and Oscar, you can write about this place. Gustavo, you can write about this place, Bhutan, snowy place. And Clayton, you can write about this one in Russia. Yes, perfect. So that's interesting. Clayton says, if I'm not mistaken, this Javari Valley has a tribe of Indians who are far from civilization. I think that's what I saw in the photo. There was some, yeah, there's like that's the tribe of Indians. So they live completely far from civilization. Yeah, well, Jessica's going to write about it. So look at the Facebook post because she's going to give us some information. Yes, Clayton, you've got Russia. I think, did I give that to Gustavo or you? I think, yes, you can take that one. And Juanita has Mexico. So remember, you can find the link in the Facebook post. You could do it together. Juanita and Oscar, you can write for Mexico. This one is for Gus. No worries. So Gustavo, you could write about this place. So these are unexplored places. You could see just how beautiful they are. Yes, Gustavo. Okay, so we ran out of time, but upload them onto Facebook. You do have the post there. And it also has the link that I was looking at. So that's the link here. Unexplored places. That's the post, and just upload it there. And we will continue next lesson, looking for a new earth. And, focusing on using the future will, or the negative won't. So when we make sentences about the future. But okay, so I know we didn't have much time. We will continue next lesson. And make sure you do your homework. That could be your homework. So you have until tomorrow to upload. But yes, that's what we'll do. We'll continue tomorrow and see you guys if you're coming into class. Good night.
See you,
Bye,
teacher.
Clayton. See ya, Juanita. See you guys. Have a good night. Good night, Gustavo.